Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. You know, for all the talk about what the media got wrong about the last election, how it failed to communicate the stakes for democracy, I actually think people were pretty well warned that Donald Trump would govern as an authoritarian. The biggest miss, to my mind, was on tariffs. They went, to my mind, underreported. And when they were reported, no one believed he would do it, even though Trump talked about it all the time. Although I should note, you would not have been surprised about the tariffs if you were a regular viewer of this program, where we talked about it a lot. We warned about them all the time, starting all the way back in January of 2024. Now, how many Americans, by contrast, know that Trump's 2024 platform includes a 10% tax on all products imported into this country? Everything. Think of all the things that are imported, which would make everyday goods like considerably more expensive. That 10% tax thing, the 10% tariff, like, I'm going to bet that's the first time you heard.
Wait, did Trump just make your Amazon bill explode by 150%? And why is no one talking about it? While everyone's distracted by political drama, Trump is pushing a secret 10% import tax on everything, from your phone to your clothes, and major companies like Amazon are hiding the truth from you. Is this the next big economic disaster or a silent money grab? Welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're diving into a major story that's getting far too little attention in the mainstream. Conversation, something that could hit every American right in the wallet. While there's been endless analysis about what the media did or didn't get right during the last election cycle, especially around the threats to democracy, there's one issue that's flown under the radar: tariffs. Specifically, Donald Trump's ongoing obsession with them. Despite how vocal Trump was about tariffs, many still didn't think he'd follow through to the extent he has. But if you'd been paying attention closely over the past few years or following this channel, you might have seen it coming. Let's break it down. One of the pillars of Trump's 2024 economic platform is a sweeping 10% import tax on all goods entering the United States. Think about that for a second. Every imported item, from clothes to electronics, from groceries to gadgets, would become more expensive. A blanket tariff that broad would essentially raise prices across the board. And yet, despite the sweeping nature of this proposal, most Americans have never even heard of it. That's by design. Trump's message has been all about lowering prices, even though he's promising a policy that will, by definition, make them higher. It's a contradiction that makes no economic sense. During his time in office, Trump inherited a strong economy, one admired around the world. But within his first 100 days, he pivoted hard toward policies, including tariffs, that many economists warned would slow growth and hurt consumers. Trump's belief is that he can impose tariffs and somehow make other countries foot the bill. The idea is that China or Mexico or whoever we import from will just absorb the cost. But that's not how tariffs work.
He insisted during the campaign, and insists now, that American consumers will not pay the tariffs, that the foreigners, those exporting countries will. That is not true. Everyone on Wall Street and in Washington and every economics department in the country has been running around screaming this for a month. It's an import tax. It's a sales tax on imports. Trump thinks he can keep this going like Wile E. Coyote when he runs off the cliff and doesn't look down. But the data is coming in. Prices are going up. Here's a great example. Look at the popular Chinese e-commerce retailer Temu. It sells a bunch of clothes, tchotchkes at very low prices, with the caveat that you are importing them directly from...
It's basic economics. Tariffs are import taxes. That cost gets passed along the supply chain and lands squarely on American consumers. This isn't just theory anymore. The impact is already visible. Take the example of Temu, a wildly popular Chinese e-commerce platform known for selling low-cost clothing and trinkets. Recently, because of Trump's tariffs, Temu started showing the true cost of these taxes at checkout. CNBC even ran an experiment. A $30 purchase turned into a $75 charge once the import fees were added. That's a 150% increase, and it's coming. Out of your pocket, not China's. Temu is just the beginning. There were also reports that Amazon considered following suit, exploring the idea of clearly displaying the cost of tariffs at checkout. Imagine buying a product and seeing a line item that says, Trump's import tax, 50 NAS. Transparency like that could spark serious public backlash. And that apparently is what the Trump team feared most, because...
Now, around the time of that briefing, Donald Trump actually called Amazon founder Jeff Bezos to yell at him about the reported plan to basically show the American people, again, how much Trump's tariffs raised their prices. And guess what? Surprise, surprise, Bezos and Amazon caved. The company now says it was only considering adding the tariff line for its subservice Amazon Haul, which is a direct competitor to sites like Temu, where you import cheap goods directly from China. More importantly, Amazon says it's not going to add the tariff line anymore, and well, Trump was pleased.
How did your call with Jeff Bezos go?
Great. Jeff Bezos was very nice. He was terrific. He solved the problem very quickly, and he did the right thing, and he's a good guy.
Once those headlines dropped, the backlash came fast and loud. Trump himself reportedly called up Jeff Bezos to express his anger. Soon after, Amazon walked back the idea. They claimed the tariff breakdown would only apply to their niche import service, Amazon Haul, which rivals platforms like Temu. And then they dropped the plan altogether. Just like that. Trump was pleased, of course. He even praised Bezos for doing the right thing, which in this case meant keeping American consumers in the dark about the real cost of his policy. But let's not forget what's really going on here. This isn't just about tariffs, it's about control. Trump isn't a champion of free markets. In fact, what he seems to prefer is something more akin to a command economy, one where he calls the shots, picks winners and losers, and pressures. Corporations behind closed doors. It's all very transactional. Reward your allies, punish your critics, and keep the public from knowing too much. Even Trump's own Commerce Secretary came out defending this strategy. In a recent exchange, when asked if companies listing tariff costs was a hostile act, he didn't deny it. In fact, he dismissed the idea that a 10% tariff would meaningfully impact prices, unless you're buying something like a mango, he joked. But let's be real. Americans absolutely feel a 10% price hike, especially when you scale that across thousands of products in their daily lives. And we're not just talking about 10% on Chinese imports. Those are subject to even harsher rates, up to 145%. The administration has simply delayed announcing the rest. Whether Amazon spells it out or not, the cost is real. Just like during COVID, when Trump tried to avoid testing so the case numbers would look lower. Hiding the data didn't stop the virus from spreading. You still noticed when you or a loved one got sick. Reality doesn't bend a spin. The same is true here. You'll still notice when your Amazon cart costs $40 more than expected, when shelves are less stocked, when your budget stretches thinner each month. And no amount of denial or corporate pressure can hide that forever. So while Trump may have succeeded in getting Bezos to back down this time, it's a short-term win in a much bigger, longer-term economic story, one that affects us all. Whether or not we're explicitly told what's happening, Americans are going to feel it. Higher prices, strained supply chains, and economic instability. And that's why this matters. And as always, stay informed, because when it comes to your wallet, the truth is worth knowing.
But again, this is just so crucial. That didn't actually mean fewer cases. It didn't mean less virus spreading. It was still spreading. People still noticed when they got sick and when loved ones died. So Trump can say whatever he wants. He can bully Jeff Bezos. He could try to sign an executive order that it's illegal in America to note that the tariffs are costing you money. But it will be the case that shipping containers will be empty. We know that that's happening. It will be the case that prices are higher. No amount of lying and bullying can change certain facts about the world. We really learned this during COVID. We learned it again after Trump lost the 2020 election January 6th, and here we are again.